Hello, scumbags, one and all. Andrew Fantasia here, and welcome to a very special impromptu Unleashed. Because guess what, homies? They have just announced the next Star Wars cartoon, and it's going to be called, drumroll, I don't have a drum, nor can I play one, Star Wars Resistance. This is it. This is it right here. This is the next cartoon, and it's going to be 2D animation akin to anime. At least that's what the reports are saying. Very old school kind of anime looking thing. A little bit like Forces of Destiny, just, I guess, more anime-ish, whatever that means. Dave Filoni is on board. This is his next baby, his next project. So apparently this show is going to be about a new character, a Resistance pilot named Kazuda Xiono, and God only knows if I'm pronouncing that right, but I guess we'll find out. And Kazuda is with another squadron of ace pilots, and they're going to be doing their own thing, but we'll also get to see familiar faces like BB-8, Poe Dameron, and Captain Phasma. And yes, apparently Oscar Isaac and Gwendolyn Christie will be playing their characters again. Now, speaking of voice cast, the voice cast has also been announced. And they include such names as Christopher Sean, Susie McGrath, Scott Lawrence, Myrna Velasco, Josh Brenner, Donald Faison, who is a big Star Wars fan, and he showed up at the Rebels panel, Bobby Moynihan, Jim Rash, and Rachel Butera. These are the names/voices we can expect in Star Wars Resistance. This show's time period is going to take place just before The Force Awakens, maybe about a year or so before. You've got these Resistance pilots. Like I said, you've got Poe, you've got Phasma, so it fits in that era around the time of the early days of Poe's comic book series, which is a cool setting. However, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but is this the most ideal setting for the next cartoon? My gut right now is saying no, unfortunately. Now, that's not to say that I'm hating on the show. That's just to say out of the time periods that I was hoping for, this was not one of them. I was hoping for either right after Return of the Jedi, where we get the further adventures of Luke and Leia and Han, leading to Luke meeting Lor San Tekka and traveling the galaxy and all that stuff, or the continuing adventures of Ahsoka Tano and Sabine as they go off in search of Ezra Bridger. Those are both things that our minds kind of clung to as like the perfect spot, the sweet, perfect little spot in which to set the next cartoon series. But apparently, no, they're going for the period of time right before the Poe Dameron comic, just before The Force Awakens happens. So that tells me that this show, again, maybe I'm just speculating here, maybe I'm jumping the gun, I could be wrong, but it tells me that this show is going to have to suffer the same fate as a lot of the canon stuff that was coming out in like 2015, early 2016, which is that it has to tap dance around a lot of stuff. They can't show us Luke because Luke is on Octo doing nothing. They can't show us this. They can't show us that. It's going to be very limiting again. Whereas something like, the Adventures of the Rebels right after Return of the Jedi, there's a lot of room to play around, and that's a big swimming pool. You can splash around in there and you won't come into contact with anybody else. That's a big pool. But this feels like a very small pool. This feels like a pool where you have to kind of tuck your arms inside so that you don't reach out and smack anybody while you're swimming. And I'm just afraid that they're shooting themselves in the foot by setting Resistance here. Because as far as I could tell, the interesting stuff that was going on at this point in time had to do with Poe and BB-8 and the search for Lor San Tekka and all that. So if Black Squadron is not a part of this, if this character is just part of their own squadron doing their own thing, still for the Resistance, and they're spying on the First Order, then, leave it to the story group. They'll find a way to make this creative and fun, but it just feels like a very tight space they're going to be maneuvering. It feels like they're going to be walking through a very narrow house when they could find something more spacious. That's just how I'm looking at it. But hey, Dave Filoni has never let me down yet. So I have got my fingers crossed that Star Wars Resistance is going to be the real deal. It's going to be great. Here's hoping. I want it to be great. I'm sure Brock and James and Rob and Aaron all want it to be great too, but I can't speak for them because I'm not canon yet. #MakeMeCanon. But what do you think, scumbags? Let us know. Drop a line in the comments. What do you think of this giant reveal. What do you think of the fact that it's coming out this fall, so soon after Rebels? I mean, they wasted no time. They're procreating like rabbits over there at Story Group. What do you think of all of this? Do you like this time period? Do you like the setting and the characters and the theme? Do you like that we got 2D animation instead of 3D? Do you like that we got this new show so soon after the old one? What are your thoughts, your hopes, your prayers? How is Resistance rattling around in your brain? Let us know. I'll see you later, my fellow scumbags. Until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.